And good Wednesday afternoon, everyone. My name is meteorologist Heather Kay, and it's time for our daily hail forecast, sponsored as always by C3 Group, Merlin Law Group, American Contractor Show, as well as Atlas Roofing. Thank you guys for sponsoring our videos. So let's get right into our weather headlines. We do have hail and wind possible out in parts of Nebraska and Wyoming and northeastern Colorado, as well as a marginal chance for some wind in the Tennessee Valley again. So we'll talk about that. And then as we get into tomorrow, some of those same areas are going to see some chances of severe weather. And then, like a broken record, we'll briefly talk about that heat and if any relief will be on the way for any of us. So before we get into our forecast, we do have one event, and it is today. We are down in Orlando, Florida at Riva, the roofing machine. This is at the Rosen Center Hotel. So make sure you come on by and say hi to us if you are at this event. So now getting into yesterday's storm reports, we did have some activity across some multiple portions of the country. The first part is here out in parts of Virginia and down into the Carolinas, westward to parts of northwestern Tennessee and southern Illinois and Indiana and Missouri. And we also had some scattered reports here in Florida. And then going out into the west, we had some scattered hail and wind reports in parts of Nebraska, down into Kansas, and out into Colorado, some landspout tornadoes as well, and then some scatter reports up here in Minnesota. So here are current conditions across the lower 48. We're still dealing with this stalled out front here across basically from just north of Oklahoma City, eastward into parts of Illinois and into the Ohio Valley. And we're going to zoom on in here first. There's still plenty of rain falling in Ohio and into Virginia Virginia and West Virginia, excuse me, as well as into Kentucky. We're starting to see some stronger storms trying to fire up here along that front as well. St. Louis, you're finally getting at least a little bit of a break. You guys did get some record rainfall yesterday, so hopefully nothing got damaged or anything, because you guys got a lot of rain. I think it was like around 9 inches or something. So yeah, to see you guys dry out a little bit is some good news. And then out into the west, we have some showers moving on through the North Platte region, and we're starting to dry out a bit as we go to the northwest, but there could be some large hail forming later on this evening. So we'll take a look at that in more detail in just a second. So here are our current temperatures. You can see where that front is. It's only 81 in Kansas City. You go south of that front and those temperatures start to warm up into the 90s, and we'll once again see temperatures getting up into the lower hundreds here in Oklahoma, as well as down into Texas. Those warmer temperatures stretch all the way to the East Coast, 90 in Atlanta right now, 88 down in Miami. And yeah, once you get north of that front, you can see how those temperatures are a lot cooler. And with our dew points, they are once again very sticky. Once we get into the mid 60s or higher, that's when you really start to notice that humidity out there. We have a 69-degree dew point in Atlanta, 68 in St. Louis, and we're getting up into the mid and upper 70s for dew points from Miami westward to New Orleans. But once you get, of course, north of this system, those dew points start to drop off. So it's a lot more comfortable up there in Minneapolis with a dew point of 54. So here is our future radar, just one particular run of one particular model. We do have storms ongoing right now, nothing severe at the moment though. But as we go throughout this afternoon, we can see some more storms trying to fire along and south of this front. I think for today, this area will be mostly a wind threat and not any hail. I can see some more linear structure here, those storms moving on through West Virginia and into Virginia as we get through this evening. Some more pop-up storms here throughout the region as we get through dinner time. And then this is at 11 p.m. Eastern time, 10 p.m. Central time. Some more storms will still be ongoing in the same regions, as well as some more storms up into central and northern Indiana. And then getting into the overnight, we'll start to see the dwindling of storms, but some more rain is expected to stick around as we get near daybreak tomorrow morning. Now out into the west, again, we have a few showers that are moving through North Platte right now, and this model is agreeing. And then as we continue to go through this afternoon and evening, we are expecting some storms to develop in parts of southern South Dakota down into Nebraska. And then as we get later into the evening, it's at 8 p.m. Central Time, more storms are expected to fire here in western Nebraska. This is the area where I think is going to see the largest hail this evening. And then getting into the overnight hours, this activity will push to the south into Kansas, where I think more wind than hail is expected by then. As you can see, it's becoming, or at least it will try to become more of a linear mode here, and it will more do so as it pushes down to the south into northern and central Kansas by 4 p.m. Central Time, and then continue to move off to the south as we near daybreak tomorrow morning. So here is today's hail forecast. Again, it's just going to be out here in this western risk. I think out in the east, it's going to be more of a wind threat today. If there is going to be any hail, it's going to be extremely spotty, which is why I didn't put anything out. So let's zoom on in to our risk for the hail. The largest hail will get anywhere from 2 to 2.5 inches in diameter, and I think for the most part, the largest cities here will be basically outside of this largest hail, aka it's going to be unfortunately more rural areas. But Scottsbluff, you have a moderate chance to see up to golf ball size hail today. Lower chances here in Cheyenne as well as North Platte. So then we're going to take a look at our wind forecast. Again, we have not just the area in the west, but also here in the Tennessee Valley, eastward into the Virginias and Carolinas. We're going to zoom into this one first. Up to 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts are possible with any of those storms that do get up to severe limits. So basically from Springfield eastward to Louisville, down to Nashville, eastward to Charlotte, all the way north to Pittsburgh and Richmond down to Charlotte. You guys can once again see 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts with any of those storms. And then same deal out in the northwest from North Platte westward to Cheyenne. We have a low end chance to see up to 60-mile-per-hour gusts there. A better chance though in Scottsbluff with a moderate chance to see those severe gusts. Now getting into tomorrow, it's basically going to be some of the same areas because that front is not moving much at all. So this is at 9 a.m. Central Time, 10 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow morning. There'll still be some scattered showers and maybe a storm or two across the region as we begin our morning. Some heavier precipitation in parts of western Kentucky down into southern Missouri, down into Arkansas, and eastern Kansas and northeastern Oklahoma. And as we continue throughout tomorrow afternoon, you can see those storms will once again start to develop along and south of this front and then track to the east. Unfortunately, I know St. Louis, you don't need any more rain after what we saw yesterday. Today and tomorrow especially, it looks like we will once again see another round of storms moving on through. And then continuing through tomorrow evening and into the overnight hours, some more storms are expected to develop and move to the east. So again, those same areas that we've been seeing those storms the last few days are once again going to see more storms since this front is stationary, it's not moving. So those storms are just going to be basically therefore in those same areas. But getting into the overnight tomorrow into Friday morning, we could still see some storms up into Pittsburgh, and then getting into daybreak into Friday, you can see basically the same deal, more showers and storms in these areas. And then out into the west, Nebraska, you can again see a more severe weather tomorrow, as well as it looks like just some general thunderstorms are expected in the Denver area. Those conditions at this time do not look favorable for hail development. So right now we're just thinking just general thunderstorm activity. But this is at 3 p.m. tomorrow Central Time, so 2 p.m. Mountain Time. Some storms will be ongoing in the Denver area, and then continuing through the afternoon and evening, you can see some stronger cells will develop along the Nebraska-Colorado border and into western Nebraska, and then move off to the east and die out as we lose that heating of the day and that instability. So we should quiet down a little bit as we get into the beginning of our Friday. A few little storms may try to fire up in the central part of the state, but otherwise we should be pretty quiet. So here is tomorrow's hail forecast. I do think tomorrow we have a better deal to see a better chance of some hail out into the northeast. Here we go. Let's zoom on in here. We have that chance to see some marginally severe hail here in the northeast from Portland down to Albany, Burlington, Syracuse, and then moving off to the south. Once again, same areas that we've been seeing the last few days here, from Springfield, St. Louis, Paducah, Nashville, eastward to Cincinnati and Charleston. You guys can see up to quarter to $1/2 size hail out there. And then getting into tomorrow in terms of our wind, same deal. Portland, Burlington down to Syracuse for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and the same areas that we've been dealing with the last few days, from Springfield to St. Louis to Paducah, Nashville, and Charleston, and Cincinnati. So, and again, it's going to be another hot day. I'll kind of just be quick about this. It's been hot, and it's going to once again be another hot one today, as well as getting into tomorrow. But hopefully, as we get into our weekend, we'll at least see some relief here in the southern plains. But then once we get into at the beginning of our week next week, unfortunately that heat will return. So here is our future jet stream. Let's go on in here. This is where our trough is right now, and it is going to slowly try to move off to the east-southeast here. And this is tomorrow morning, trying to bring that cold front slowly to the south here. Hopefully we can at least get some relief. And then as we get into a Friday, you can see this trough is going to, it's not moving a whole lot, you guys. That's why we've been seeing that continued pattern here in the middle of the country, here in the Tennessee Valley and into the Carolinas. This system is just not moving that much. But as we get into our Saturday, it starts to track off to the northeast here. And then as we get into our Sunday, that trough will be off. And then there's another little one that will get into, unfortunately, some of the same areas as we get into our Sunday. And then that will track off to the east as we get into the beginning of our next week on Monday. So here is Friday's forecast. Like I said, this system is not really moving a whole lot. So this same area is going to be dealing with another round of potentially severe weather on Friday. So I believe that's all I have for you today. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok so you don't miss any of our videos or any surprise storms that decide to develop, or just anything at all. So, and then if you have any questions, concerns, or if you just want to say hi, you can give us a call at 855-334-4245. You can email us at info@hailtrace.com, and then check out our website at www.hailtrace.com. And I am meteorologist Heather Kay. I hope you all have a great rest of your Wednesday.